everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of season 8 of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. We hope you tuned in last week and enjoyed it as much as we did with Chris and Mark from GameCon Canada. That is June 13th to 15th in Edmonton. We will be there. Will you?
Better be.
Better be. However, we're not talking about that today. This week's episode is entitled Fact or Split Fiction.
Dun, dun, dun.
To all the writers that feel like as soon as they submit their ideas to a big studio or a publisher, that your ideas will be ripped off somehow, whew, do we have a game for you. Let this nightmare fantasy come to life as you travel through a mixture of two stories and completely different genres in split fiction. Oh shit. You play as two writers who were supposed to be in their own little bubbles, trying out a machine that was supposed to make ideas a reality. But one of them panicked, and well, here we are, stuck in their chaotic, clashing theoretical realities. You're trying to get me to slip up on that one, Daryl.
You're welcome.
To top it all off, this game is also only a co-op multiplayer experience that might have some of you sleeping on the couch if things don't go well, or waiting at the end of a level, waiting
Endlessly.
Waiting.
Just keep waiting.
If you are looking for a detailed review, we will have that to you lickety split fiction. Enjoy.
Nice.
Well, boys, we split things a bit.
Did we?
Did we? Are we split up?
I don't think we're split on this one.
No. I know that one of us has already gone
Above and beyond.
happy. Oh my god.
Fucking nerd.
Blame my wife. She's like, we need to platinum this game. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that was a quick platinum too. Like you guys finished that in
How long?
I think
How long?
we finished the game in about 15 hours,
Okay.
Mhm.
and we only had a couple things to go back and do.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Which was then followed up by us going back and playing It Takes Two again and platinuming that game.
Jesus.
Just
But
finish the
No
whole
couples game
catalog.
left unturned.
Yeah, for the most part, like if you interact with most things, you're going to be 75% of the way there.
Mhm.
And then those last things are just like little quirky interactions. It's the same in both games. Like there's a lot of these like little things that you can miss. And
Right.
if you just do the interaction and like play with the surrounding environment, you'll get a trophy randomly.
Yeah, I think there's a couple I got in there with their little
Yeah.
shout outs back to It Takes Two because it's the same company. That's
Yeah, they have
Hazelight.
tons of references. In this one, like Hazelight, like Joseph Ferres, who's the founder of Hazelight, we need to prop this man up. We need to
100%.
He's a
keep this man
straight up
alive,
G.
protect this man at all costs.
Yeah.
He's come out and spoken very honestly about never having paid content, like additional paid content, no microtransactions. He had a really great take about this game. Of course, all the fucking neckbeards came out of the woods on this one. They're like, it's two female protagonists.
Oh, no.
Well, one, who gives a shit? And then two, he was like, well, our other games, we had two guys, then we had a guy and a girl, and like this game's apparently based off of his daughters.
Yeah.
So the two characters are based off of that. So it's like just everything. Every time this guy talks, you're just like, man, like he better not come out and have some like secret tapes or something of like saying horrible shit. Because so far he is a gem.
I think like that. It's such a problem that like a game has two female lead characters and everyone starts crying woke immediately without knowing any context or backstory.
No.
They
And
just assume.
It makes sense. So I'll lay the groundwork. I know Daryl hasn't played a whole lot of this game. So for anyone who hasn't played, I'll lay the groundwork. You are two unpublished writers who show up at like the most tech bro startup publishing company that could ever exist in the world. with a lot of like hints of Assassin's Creed 1.
Yeah.
It's called Raider Publishing or something. Of course, it's a bit of a lead on as to what's going to happen. And so you go in, you're supposed to be going into these like bubbles where you get to like VR live out your written work, sort of like you're plugging into the Matrix or kind of an Assassin's Creed type thing. You're one character, something happens, won't get into too much. You end up in the same bubble, and now you've like broken the machine. So you're working through these rifts and like splits in the things, similar to like almost like Ratchet and Clank in the most recent Ratchet and Clank. And so you're working through each other's written works and like your inspiration and finding out about each other and, becoming besties and all that sort of thing.
As one does.
Yeah, as one does.
Really unique take. I like what they did with it. It's a fun mix, right? They take really like cyberpunk, sci-fi, Blade Runner type world, and then Lord of the Rings, fairies,
fantasy.
Yeah.
And and then it goes some of the sides. I mean, we'll get into like talking about like the side stories and stuff, but Jordan and I had a chance to play through some of it too. It's again, like how quickly you get through this game is also dependent on
the player
who you play with,
how good your partner is. Yeah.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
So big one for this one. If you do not have someone to play with, if you are home alone, for starters, obviously you can play online with somebody, like you can get matched with somebody. But there is also a buddy pass system. So if you buy the game,
nice. Oh man,
it's genius. So if you buy the game, you can invite a friend, but only like one specific friend. So if you got someone you want to play with, and they can only play the game with you. So if you're saying, hey, we're going to play through this together, I think that's what Kyle and Jordan are doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, you are my buddy pass. You have to come play with me, but then you get to experience the game, pay for it once. I believe this was only a $50, $60 game, even in Canada.
Which is awesome.
Which was
also fantastic.
An appropriately priced game.
Yeah. So if you want to split that with a buddy, you can get your friend pass. I mean, honestly, you should just both buy it anyways to support the studio. But
I agree.
It's a great way to, if it's forced co-op, it's a great way to at least give you an opportunity to play with somebody you know.
Mm-hmm. And it was super convenient. Like Jordan ended up having to like download the full game with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
obviously. But
you are my friend. You will play this game. You will download this and play this with me.
Download it now.
It was just the lead into the game and how it starts and how it sort of works through things. So good. Like I would love to just play more of their ideas. Like that cyberpunk one with the gravity whip and the sword.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saved a clip of me grabbing a dude with the gravity whip and like yeeting him off this flying car and just giggling my ass off because I wasn't expecting to be able to do that.
When it's the story is like the dialogue is really well written too, because you are jumping in between each of the worlds. Like it's cool while you're playing the level to hear the characters bantering back and forth about like, why the
how
hell
shitty their ideas are.
Yeah. Like, why would you have this in your story? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And, but it's a great insight into who the characters are, because it's like, well, this was my inspiration for why I put this into my story. And like, well, I grew up loving this and that's why I have it in there. And, it just, it makes it a very organic kind of conversation between two characters.
Well, it's funny because some people have knocked it for being like a bit cheesy and stuff like that, but it's just like these are unpublished writers.
Yeah,
like these aren't people who are like, this isn't George R.R. Martin. These are people who are like kind of young. They're a little bit corny. But it is also really funny to see
figuring it out.
But they create a really good dichotomy where
good word choice.
Was it Zoe, who's the fantasy writer, is very like introspective, like very artsy, being like, I did this because I was inspired by this and this. Whereas Mio is more of just like the writing to vent type. And so when she gets asked questions of like, why would you put this in here? Like, what inspired you? She was like, nothing. I just did it. Right. Like, this is just a thing. And then they break each other down as to like, this is why this is here. And there's some really good story moments in the game. Like gets a little sappy later on, but very similar to like It Takes Two, where you get to these moments where like, damn, this game hits harder than it should.
Right.
But they do a really good job of just at least creating these characters who are vastly different aside from their ideas. And then you kind of like work through your problems together, and they're yelling at each other and
therapy game. All right.
dealing with stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's one of the best highlights of this game is a lot of the ideas. They don't really outstay their welcome, because you are
everything
jumping
is very
back
quick
and forth. Like just as you're about to, almost get tired of an idea or get tired of a mechanic, it's like, all right, we're going to take you from the cyberpunk into the fantasy world, and the gameplay is totally different.
The pacing is unreal. Like the skills, like obviously Daryl, we're kind of instructing Daryl on this tonight. Every level, there's kind of a gimmick, some sort of a platforming gimmick. So I can climb trees. That person's I turn into a monkey and I can climb stuff. You turn into a tree and you can like move branches and shit. So we have to like work together to solve puzzles. Then all of a sudden you're in a side scroll adventure. The camera shifts in this are really, really cool, where you go from 3D to like 2D side scroll, which is something people might be more familiar with like Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
And then same thing, you're dealing with some sort of new puzzle together with or without your skills. And then you're going into a side world and you're completely different again. And you're back and you're completely different again. So they do a really good job where I don't even think in comparison to It Takes Two, you always had like the swing whip, you always had like a jump and a ground pound. Whereas in this, it's like you only get the skill we give you. Like usually you have like the swing.
Gotcha.
But aside from that, it's like you can only do the thing that we give you and you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And they are
It's very
vastly
level
different.
based.
Yes.
Which I don't think is a bad thing.
No, it's great. It makes it makes it variable. There's so much variety. And same thing, it just gives for these really funny moments. There's tons of references in this game. So there's like the Assassin's Creed, you jump out of a tower into
very early on.
But you can tell this was made by people who love video games and movies. Like there's so much stuff in here where you're like, that was from like Terminator, or like that's from Cyberpunk. The best one is the motorcycle. I don't know if you guys have done the motorcycle yet.
No.
This clip's been online, so if you haven't seen it, you get on a motorcycle that you've stolen. The motorcycle wants to self-destruct. Zoe's on the back of it. There is cancel the self-destruct via the cell phone that she has, but it makes you like do facial recognition and do like CAPTCHAs and all this stuff. That was the hardest challenge. There is a way to get through it. There's actually a way to skip through it and do all these things. You have to read terms and conditions and like check boxes and shit on the cell phone while the other person's driving to cancel this self-destruct sequence. And it was the funniest thing. I have not laughed that hard playing a video game, because when I played with my wife, I was driving and she's like, what the fuck do I do? I'm like, swipe the phone. And she's sitting there trying to like swipe the phone to unlock it. And then someone calls, like some spam calls you and you have to like hang up on them.
Oh my God.
It's the most like panic inducing, but hilarious moment of a game
which is also hilarious.
It's very meta.
Your wife doing it.
Yes.
Because I could see her panicking with the controller.
She's like, oh my God. That one, actually, when we went to do the platinum, we had to switch. She was not a fan of that. That was the only time we had to switch controllers for the whole game.
It's like, I love you, honey, but if we want to do this, we got to switch.
Yes. This is like It Takes Two. This is a couples building, bonding game of patience.
This is the video game equivalent of building IKEA furniture together. But just digital.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah. If you can get through IKEA without a fight.
Quite overcooked, but it's,
no,
it's not that intense.
Anything is like overcooked, to be honest.
The nice thing that they did with this one, which is, it's really funny to see so It Takes Two was 2021. If anyone hasn't played it, you get transformed into like dolls. You're a couple who's like kind of thinking about getting divorced. Your kid's real sad. You get turned into dolls and you have to work through the game. The big thing about that game is because you're dolls, they really focused on like the gamifying aspect of everything.
Yeah.
So there's mini games throughout the game where you compete against each other. And that was one of the things my wife didn't like about the game, because I would always kick her ass at all of these mini games. Because they were all things, right? Like if you've played a lot of video games,
You know
it's
them.
stuff you know, right?
You'll just be better
playing,
at it. Yeah.
You're playing Duck Hunt. You're playing like whatever. In this one, they get away from that, where it's entirely story focused. So instead of mini games, you get the side stories.
Yeah.
So for Daryl, essentially what it is, it's part of the challenges is you find these like rifts, where in the middle of this sci-fi universe, there's like a little island with like a freaking like Hobbit hut, just like kind of like it's leaking into the universe.
Yeah.
And then you can go in and you do a little side mission in the other person's story as like a bit of a break. And then you come back and finish the level.
Okay.
For
That's not so
example,
Yeah.
one that Jordan and I played that we absolutely lost it. You start as pigs, and you're like going through the
I've seen the hot
barnyard
dog
and
one.
stuff.
Yeah. The farting, the rainbow farting pig.
Rainbow farting pigs.
Yeah.
And then you get through all this level and you go down these slides and you slide into a grinder. And then you get shot out as hot dogs and you're flopping around as hot dog.
Yeah.
I sent that clip to Trevor too, because maybe he'll splice it over this, but like I was just like, we're hot dogs.
There's a couple of those, like this game, you're like, this is so fun and so light and jovial. And then you're just like, what the fuck? And that happens like 3 or 4 times in the game, where all of a sudden it just gets like, it's like shit got dark, guys. Like shit got real dark. But then she explains, she's like, yeah, it was weird, like learning where meat came from, right? Like this whole inspiration behind this. And it's just
like
wild.
It's like seeing the movie Sausage Party for the first time, and you're like, oh, this is kind of cutesy and like,
and then it takes a turn.
Yeah, and then it goes real hard off the rails. Yeah. That part was hilarious. Having to like jump on the grill.
Yeah.
Add mustard and ketchup. I was like, this is so fucking stupid, but it's funny. And like, it's just fun. It was a really good time.
So what I would like is to take a small break.
It's a hot dog.
Yeah. I think it's a hot dog right now.
Mustard.
There's something that I've been missing since last season, and I was really hoping to hear about the latest treasure trove. Jordan, are you? We know you're prepared. You've
had so much time.
So much time. Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Take it away with the treasure trove.
The treasure trove.
All right. Welcome to the first treasure trove of season 8. Crazy to think that we're here. The treasure trove list has grown
substantially.
But for anybody that's listening to our podcast for the first time, I have been known in this group to play anything and everything. And I figured, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to make a list of everything that I play.
All the good ones.
All the good ones. Yeah. I try and find things that don't necessarily get a lot of marketing love, are very, very good games, were maybe reviewed very well, but for whatever reason, just didn't quite grasp the love and attention from the player base that they were hoping for. So, this week is, quite different from Split Fiction, but I played this over our break. It's not a new game, but still, I really enjoyed it. It's Gears of War Tactics. This came out, I believe, in 2020. So it's been out for a minute, but developed by a company named Splash Damage. They partnered with the...
I was going to say,
works well.
Very fitting.
Yep. They partnered with the Coalition. The Coalition is the studio that's made all the Gears games for Xbox. So, they've got it dialed down to a sweet science. So they partnered with them to create this game. It's a prequel that takes place right before the events of Gears 1.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of overlap with some of the characters. You'll see some familiar faces, but they're essentially taking like a side faction, that's kind of off to the side of the main story, and they're making them the focus for this one. So it's a tactics game. It's right in the name. So there's no shock over what type of game you're getting into. But it's really, really cool the way that they handled this universe. It's a very like balls to the walls type franchise. There's lots of gore, lots of killing. Like, how do you bake that into a turn-based, experience? And they did a really, really good job. Like, even down
it takes
to
4 turns to rip all of your limbs off separately.
See, in this game, it's all about efficiency. The chainsaw machine gun, you can use that as your melee attack. If you get close enough, just fucking slice those guys in half.
So smart.
And it even does like the zoom in camera angle, so you get like right fucking in there, chopping them up. But yeah, it's really cool. The story is great. I really cared about the characters. It's got some XCOM kind of soldier customization. So like you'll be able to recruit like named characters, and then you'll also recruit like grunts. And the grunt characters are different weapon classes. Thank you, Darryl. Work. But you can change their armor. You can change the weapon camos and the colors. So like, I know Darryl, he could have an entire Red Hood army. Everybody could have the same color scheme and like camo print. And
this is Darryl's gateway drug into Warhammer.
I was going to say.
Hey, I played Space Marine.
That's true.
No, but I think this
the tactics side.
This might put him over the edge.
I can't have another thing.
Are you sure?
There are so many expensive hobbies.
We can't. Nobody here can afford the Warhammer universe.
No, I love it. I would love to get into it, but I cannot.
I do have a question, Jordan.
Yes.
Is it more of a like 3D tactics, more of like a Marvel Rivals, or is it more of a square, like movement squares, similar to like more of a Fire Emblem, like Final Fantasy Tactics?
It's kind of in the middle. So like
okay.
There is like a grid system in the sense that you, when you move your cursor around the map, you'll see like individual squares that you can land on. But they do a really good job of just making it feel really fluid, and like they don't. Yeah, it's kind of a banana hook rather than a straight up, but
kind of like a 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
not quite midnight, not quite.
But yeah, no, it's a really fun game.
Grids.
Oh God, I'm gonna try to wrap this up.
This is my blue pill army.
You should go get that checked out, buddy. If it's looking like this, we got some issues. It's on Game Pass and Game Pass PC. There's been rumors of a sequel maybe coming out down the line.
Cool.
But if you're into tactics games of any kind, but you want like that AAA polish of like a super intense action game, this gives you the best of both worlds. So, Gears of War Tactics, definitely check it out.
I'm actually a little surprised you didn't bring up the other one we had a great time with, but I will leave that.
Oh, Kyle's feelings are hurt already. Okay.
Fuck off.
You suck at parking, is that it? Great game.
It's on my list too, T. That might be for a future episode this season.
So good until my game broke.
Really funny that your game broke, but we can talk about that next time.
Okay, so bring it back to talk about split fiction. I wanna bring up something that they did that like games don't do anymore. Of course, it was like fucking spoiled by Instagram, Reels, TikTok, whatever.
Cheap, wasn't broken. What am I missing?
Yeah, what am I missing here?
Hidden secret levels.
Yes.
The secret laser hell level the first people that found it and completed it got a special video message in game from the founder of hazelight, and they won a trip to Sweden to see Hazelight Studios.
Yeah.
Did you not know that?
No, I did not know this.
I swear to God, I said, but like it was like the level is number one. It's hidden behind like this secret that like it took a bit of time.
Crazy.
Well, it's off to the side. So what it is, because same thing. My wife's like, she saw the thing after, and she was like, "We could do this. We could win it." I was like, "Someone's already done it." But what it is it's an area you go to, and a lot of what this game does really well is they have like character checks. So it's like, you know, press triangle on the thing, and it like merges the screen together, which is really cool. There's a lot of instances for the cutscenes and stuff where you're like, it perfectly puts your character in the middle, so then it takes out the line out of the center of your screen and makes like one cinematic, which is really neat.
Sweet.
But what this is it's a double button. So it's like you both have to be standing on this thing so that the elevator goes down to this area. And prior to that, because I didn't realize where the hint was, prior to that, on one of the doorways is a bunch of like zeros and ones.
Yeah.
It's all binary. And so the one button's 0, the other button's 1. And so you have to like hit them in the correct order. And then the elevator like skips and it goes to this special area.
Oh, okay.
So,
and it looks fucking hard.
Yeah, it's like platforming hell.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that's what I want.
It was meant to be hard. Like they even said, like even their developers had, you know, struggled to beat it. So it was a big deal. And it's just like a cool little thing,
it's like,
right?
it's like a Mario Maker level. Yeah. Like
in
the anxiety inducing Mario Maker, but in a game.
Yeah. That's even like beyond, because like even what was really cool was like even the other like side story hidden levels, like you could hear them. So you'd be going through this busy city, you know, this space city, and you could hear this like fairy twinkle somewhere, and you're kind of like, oh, I hear, like there's got to be one nearby. Sometimes they would mention it. They'd be like, oh, there's a thing over there. And there's one or two that we missed originally because they were like behind you in a place you would never look. So they did a really cool job with that.
Again, like I really appreciate
stuff like that in games.
Just the passion that they put into it. Then they're video game fans. This isn't like some corporate bullshit that they're just like pumping out this like uninspired piece of crap. This is something these people loved and put a lot of passion into, and it shows, and it makes it like super successful. I feel like do we have, I don't know if you guys check the stats on it. Trevor?
I haven't seen any sales numbers. I think it did.
Did pretty well. Like the gate, though. I'm pretty sure.
I feel like
I'm being blinded by knowledge.
Blinded by science. As of March, so the game came out like late March. As of the end of March, so far they've sold 2 million copies.
Not bad. That's
awesome,
which is pretty good. Like for a studio that's maybe not indie, like they're still technically supported by EA, or published by EA.
Yeah,
that's still. Yeah. I mean, like they said, this is the first game I think in 13 years that's been technically published by EA that had a high rating, like a rating above a 7.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
really?
Yes, because EA is just been pumping out money printing bullshit for the last 15 years.
Give me a good Need for Speed, you dickheads.
Yeah, right. He's even come out too and said, like, we've had a bunch of companies approach us to buy us. And he said, I will never sell Hazelight to anybody. I don't give a fuck what the offer is. I will never sell my company. And it will never be a publicly traded company either.
Protect his man.
The other thing he said, like the dude is a fucking G.
I just want to hug this guy. Like he's just so cool.
I can't love you any more than I already do.
Awesome. But like back to Kyle and Trevor's point with the secret levels and stuff. Like it reminds me of like the hidden cow level in Diablo that you guys always used to talk about. And like, you know, even games from the Super Nintendo era and like the PS2 era and stuff. Like it's stuff like that makes games replayable, you know, for especially a story-based game. Like it's stuff like that that's going to make you want to go back and check it out. And like the sad thing is in today's era with social media, a lot of the secret stuff is ruined because as soon as somebody finds it, they post it and it's like, oh, fuck, I missed out on it. But if in this case, I think the reason why this one is still really cool, even though it's been kind of spoiled by Instagram and stuff, is like Kyle said, the level is hard as fuck. And so for somebody like me that loves platforming games and loves like challenge levels and stuff, I'm like, I don't give a fuck if somebody spoiled it. I want to try that because I want to see if I'm good enough. Like, I want to see if I can put myself up there as somebody that's beat this level because it looks crazy difficult. Totally. And we need more games to bring stuff like this back. It's like, make something crazy hard that's going to take me Elden Ring levels of retries. Like if it takes me 30 times to beat this thing, sometimes that shit's cool. Like sometimes,
but not Mario Maker. Something that
I don't need. I was like, I'm not into the like Mario Maker level of. I don't need that. I don't need perfectly timed, perfect execution. Like
some of that shit is crazy.
Yes.
I don't have the patience for that.
Are on another level. Yeah.
The other nice thing too that Jordan mentioned is like the replayability of this is really nice because even if like my wife and I, even if you did literally everything. Well, now you can switch roles.
Yeah. So I was going to ask if you play the character, like, are you stuck as that person for your entire playthrough, or like, do you get a choice to swap or
every time you load up, you can pick the other person.
Okay.
If you want, you're not going to play it in one sitting, most likely. So every time you load up the game, you do have the choice of switching characters, but it is really fun just to play through as like that one character. And then if you want to go back and replay it, because you never have the same skills in a level, right? Like that's what makes It Takes Two so good, which is what they've transferred into this game, is that you always need to have both people's skills to get through puzzles.
Right. So
you can't just be like, I'm just going to get to the end of the level with my skills and just, leave my wife behind and like get here when you get here. I'm going to go make a drink. You have to actively work together because one person has, power A and the other person has power B, and you have to use them. And so they do a really good job of that.
It's not like Sackboy where your partner dies and is just the floating orb. And it's like, I'm just going to beat the level. I'm just the fucking floating orb's just following you the whole level.
Yeah. So they definitely make it that way. But yeah, just the interactions you have with your characters are just hilarious. Like I will say this for one of the challenges. There's one challenge where my wife is transformed into we're like metal balls. So you're kind of doing not a monkey ball, but you're just driving around this level doing a security run. So I'm on a turret. I have to shoot out cameras and I have to shoot these like drones to get her through the level and do everything like that. At one point, there is a box. She can roll into the box and hide in the box, and you get a Snake Metal Gear Solid trophy.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yes.
Love that.
Again, these are people that are video game fans. All these little there's even a Dark Souls campfire.
Dark Souls, there's a whole area that I was like, this is Hogwarts Legacy, like through and through. Like you get there, you make potions, you can like get your wand, you can turn the other person into like a chair. God. Like there's all sorts of goofy shit like that.
Love it.
The biggest one that I don't want to spoil it because it's the ending of the game.
Wait, why
no, you're good.
Okay.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but like the ending, like the crescendo of this game, where you finally get to the end, you're fighting the bad guy who is this guy that owns the company. Also, side note, why is it that every weird like evil CEO always has people on like video call at all times? It's like a funny trope where it's just like, why are these people always like ready and willing to have a conversation right away?
Yeah.
But as you like kind of fight him as the final boss, by far one of the coolest and most unique like dual player interactions with a game I've ever seen.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Like, and you have to experience it. Like it gets trippy. It gets really interesting. What they do with like we're in the same world, but we're not in the same world, and how things look different. And just some of the things that they do with the game are just so creative. So that's the thing. Like the last hour and a half, really 2 hours of this game are just so cool.
Even I found like the boss fights too. Like we fought Mr. Hammer. And just like having.
Wait till you get to the fucking dentist. Oh my God. That's another fucked up one.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen the clips of that one too.
I hate the dentist. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like forces you to work together on things. Like you can't just like have one person solo at all. You're working together to, like incapacitate this hammer and then smack the boss with it. It's like, it was great.
You
it kind of gave me like Borderlands vibes.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Everything is built around like you gain an appreciation for the fact that, like Trevor said, you can't steamroll the playthrough by yourself. Like if you're the gamer and you're playing with a non-gamer, like you can't just fucking, cheese your way through. You have to, rely on that other person, which is odd for some gamers, like especially if you play primarily solo stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I have to rely on this other person. Otherwise we will not beat this game.
You could say it takes two to finish it.
I got a question, or I got two questions, Trev.
Okay.
First is because they've never done like a direct sequel, this studio.
No.
Does this game kind of tease like there's going to be a sequel with these same characters? And then second question, and maybe we can leave the answer to this one towards the end of the episode, but like, would this be your top hazelight studio game? Because you've played all of them now, right?
We didn't play a Way Out is a bit older. It's from 2018, but it's like A Way Out is like pretty much entirely side scroll. It's like two brothers escape. It's like Prison Break.
Yeah.
Right.
And same thing. They make references to them throughout this game and It Takes Two. Like they constantly make funny references to their old games.
That's cool.
This one, no. And I think I think they're already working on the next game, and I don't think it's a sequel.
Okay.
This one has like a pretty wrapped ending.
Okay, no cliffhanger.
And so they don't.
Anything.
No, they don't really leave it as a cliffhanger. It's like here's the same with It Takes Two. It's like here's kind of the happy ending. This is where we're at. You kind of go from there. What was your second question?
Oh, just would this be
is
like
this the
your
premier
best
game?
Yeah, like from this studio, would you say this is the best game they've made?
Yes, I would say in terms of looks and the way it plays, this is by far much more complete. But I also wouldn't like undermine the fact that It Takes Two is also an extremely good game.
It won Game of the Year, did it not? Or was it nominated for?
I think it was nominated.
Yeah, It Takes Two was
nominated.
Yeah, but they did a little bit different. Like I've said, like Split Fiction is very much story focused. You are on these paths. There's stuff to do at times, but you are very much on this story path. It Takes Two kind of tried to open up into this whole like open world thing where you get to a lot of these areas where there's little things you can do and like little side shit and like these little side games. And it's still, it's 2021. It still looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going back to like 95 and playing this pixelated game. It's just very different approaches. I found in It Takes Two, you do have a few more skills. Like it almost feels like It Takes Two was a bit of a bigger game almost in some regards with like the number of different skills you have to use. That would be my only knock against Split Fiction is it felt like they could have done more. Like honestly, it's like it would have been cool to do a couple more skills, or I'm like, we're making references to these other games that are 2-player games. But there's just a few things like I thought maybe they would carry over in terms of like puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really felt like they didn't want to reuse any puzzles. So there's a lot of stuff they're like, we can't do that. We literally just did it, but we're going to do this instead.
It's not like that power up progression of games where it's like, I've learned new skill. Now I can use that skill in future levels. And like, it just builds and it like builds upon that.
They're all so like we've said, like each level is so different and so one-off. It definitely felt like they didn't want to copy their own homework. Where they're like, hey, we already did this. Like, we can't do that. But there's still levels. Like, it was hilarious. Like, I had played this game and Jordan commented because he saw me playing it on PlayStation. He's like, what the fuck is Fogs? Which is essentially cat. If anyone remembers the cartoon Cat Dog, where you're a cat and a dog connected in the middle, no butt. You're just two heads. There was a funny co-op game called Fogs where you're a two-headed dog on each end and you have to like grab things and move around. And there was a level that kind of felt like that. And we were just laughing. We were like, oh, this is like Fogs, which is hilarious because that's like an indie, like that was like a PS Plus cut. Super cheap.
Cat Dog, what
like
an old
co-op game.
What a throwback show reference that is.
But yeah, going back and playing It Takes Two just after it, I was like, oh yeah, there was things here that they definitely did not use that they could have and probably chose not to.
Okay, I'm gonna interject really quick. Game of the Year, so 2021, the Game Awards. It Takes Two won Game of the Year.
Okay, it did
win.
And it also won Game of the Year at the DICE Awards.
Nice. Good for them.
And
they were on a roll.
For reference, October 2024 for It Takes Two, it's sold over 20 million units.
Dang.
Wow.
For It Takes Two. So like this studio, like I have no doubt that the more sort of media attention that Split Fiction gets, especially like with award stuff that will come up this year.
Yeah,
hopefully people don't forget about Split Fiction, but I think it deserves to be in the conversation just because
it's on my list.
It's so good.
Currently, it is the best game I can think of this year.
But like they just announced as the day we're recording this that it's also coming to the new Switch 2. So that's a whole new player base,
which has voice chat.
Experience.
Whoa. Voice chat. It's 2025.
But the impressive thing with the sales figures of this, when you really think about it, is like that's 20 million sales for It Takes Two. And think of the amount of buddy passes that would have been given out for that game. So like
40 million people.
Yeah, like they would have probably had between 30 and 40 million like unique users playing the game, but only 20 million sales because of the buddy pass. So like to me, that's even more impressive that they hit 20 million.
Yeah. To me, I don't know if this will maybe hit the same numbers just with lack of COVID.
Yeah.
But I do think COVID and It Takes Two proved that people do want either a purely co-op game or something that is couch co-op, right? This is something, the reason we played it, my wife and I, we were working from home, nothing to do, nowhere to go. And so she's like, well, I want to pick up Horizon. I'm going to pick up some of these games. I'm going to learn to play some of these other video games. And she's like, oh, we can play this together. Like, I don't just have to watch you play God of War and watch the story. I want to play with you and we can work together. Yeah. I'm in.
Deal.
Right. And it's a huge market. And I think that's something that they've proven is missing from the market is we don't have couch co-op.
There's no more couch co-op. It's like crazy.
But one thing I will say for studios, if you are thinking of making a co-op game, please don't make us choose between couch co-op or online co-op. Just offer both.
Yes.
The perfect example are the Dark Pictures anthology games that Daryl and I really like. Like so many of those, they've got a couch co-op option, but they don't have the online or vice versa. And it's like, just give both.
Yeah. I loved playing the Quarry together.
Yes.
That was so
funny. The Quarry together and it was so funny.
Yeah.
That was so funny. So chaotic.
It is an excuse to get everyone, the new ones, I think don't have that again. Yeah. But it's like an excuse to get everyone over and watch a cheesy horror movie. But if the game's 10 hours long, it's well, we're not going to sit here for 10 hours and play it.
No,
we got to do this over a couple nights and I can't get everyone over to my house every night. So,
and some friends live in different cities and different provinces and countries. Just make it online co-op for people too. That's my only gripe with, co-op locked games. Just give us the option.
Yeah.
So speaking of options, Trevor, since you are the one that's played it fully through, give me your solidified score. Jordan and I will have like a partial
review in progress.
I have zero number to give.
Daryl will spectate. In terms of a co-op game, so being that there's almost none out there, this is a 10 out of 10 co-op game. Easily the best, like same with It Takes Two, the best co-op experience you can have, where it's still entry level. It's not crazy ass hard. Like if you are a platformer, you're going to really enjoy it. If you're playing with your wife, spouse, whoever that maybe doesn't play games a lot, they should be able to kind of get through it. There might be some tough situations, but like you can get through the game.
Right.
10 out of 10 experience, like working together, yelling at each other from time to time. But it's great. As just a game, I would maybe give it a 9. Like there's still, there are some little parts where you're just like, oh, that's kind of cheesy. That's like, I kind of wish there was more of this. I think it could have been a little bit longer. But honestly, like I said, so far, this is as far as we've seen so far this year, this is game of the year up until this point.
Yeah. For the first 3 months.
So, and I think coming at it from an angle of like, this isn't just the next Call of Duty. It's like, no, this is like a game that took time and effort. And there's lots of little references to movies and video games. Like if you are a nerd, you will love this game because you will just point out all the things. You're like, oh my God, it's from that thing I love.
It's the Leonardo DiCaprio meme though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that one.
That's awesome.
So that's where I'm going. Yeah. So like 9 overall, 10 for co-op people.
Kyle, you go because you've played more than me. So I'm curious kind of where your score sits right now.
Kyle has two different experiences with the same game.
He's got 2 scores, 2 different scores.
Does your wife listen to the podcast?
She watches clips, so don't clip it.
Clip it.
No, I'm not gonna perjure myself here.
Blackmail, you say?
The game is a co-op game. Again, like Jordan and I played together, and it was a blast. Like it flowed well. Like there was no points where I was like, can we just fucking wrap it up?
Wrap it up,
even, like, yeah, the side stories and stuff are fun and goofy, and it's easily like 9 to 10.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I haven't played as much as either of you. Kyle and I just did one session. We got a decent chunk of the way through the beginning, but it's probably sitting at like an 8 for me right now. Like it's a very good game. It's fun. I find the gameplay is quite simplistic in a lot of spots, which isn't, necessarily a bad thing. It's just not what I would want to play like a 30-hour experience of. So I'm happy that this game is like 12 to 15. It's a kind of the perfect length. My score probably would get higher the further I get in with the story and like I get to experience the different levels. And like right now, the characters are still very surface level for me because we're just not that far.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably an 8 for me, but very easily could turn into a 9 by the end. So, but definitely if you're looking for a co-op game, I agree with Trev. It's 100% a must play for co-op gamers. You should check it out.
Check it out.
Daryl says check
thoughts?
it out.
Yeah, I'm a little split here. I don't really know what to say.
We'll get Daryl's been busy. We'll get him on the split fiction.
Nobody wants to play with me.
I was gonna say you can play with my wife. My wife will play with you.
Sure,
give you the full experience.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our. I wouldn't call it a split decision. It was pretty unanimous on this one, but hopefully, this gives you some motivation, some ideas. Maybe take a look to a co-op game. You
go make a friend and play a game with them.
Support a smaller, awesome company that isn't full of shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's support companies like Hazelight because they're awesome and they are worth it. So I think for episode 2 of season 8,
good enough.
I think it's good enough.
It's good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
It's good. You know what? Better than good. Good enough.
Good enough.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at GEG Podcast. Check out our website, goodenoughgaming.com, and write us an email about anything from our episodes or something you would like us to discuss in the future. You can also now join us on Discord on the Good Enough Gaming Discord server. We really appreciate you listening and hope you continue to join us on this epic adventure of discussing all things gaming and nerdy. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, and rate us 5 stars so we can find more good enoughers in the process. Just remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.